What will happen when two worlds so different yet equally magnificent, the global pop music scene and the high fashion scene, collide in one explosion of elegance and unforgettable surprise? Is it possible that a singer from Asia, who has redefined the standards of the entertainment world, now also dominates the most elite stage in the global fashion world? And what if that name is Jungkook from BTS? Everything is missed at US Fashion Week 2025, when one name changes the atmosphere in a matter of seconds. Just 27 seconds after the news was announced through loudspeakers and giant screen visuals at the center of Las Vegas Fashion Avenue stage, the crowd turned into a hysterical roar. As if being an international singer and performer with unrivaled charisma wasn't enough, Jungkook has officially been named Louis Vuitton's top model for 2025. This decision not only shocked, but also burned the spirits of his fans, especially ARMY around the world, who could not hold back tears of happiness and deep pride. Who would have thought that an announcement in a fashion show would become a global main topic in less than an hour? But the question is, why did Louis Vuitton choose Jungkook, and why now? Is this just another business strategy, or is there a greater magical force at play behind the scenes of the fashion industry? How can a young man from Busan who once dreamed of becoming a singer now walk upright confidently, wearing an exclusive collection from the most influential fashion house in the world? The answer is more complex than imagined, and the story behind this selection process turns out to hold an electrifying narrative. Not everyone knows that for the past 3 months, Louis Vuitton has been doing in-depth research and quietly putting together a transformative campaign that places the most inspiring public figures for the younger generation as their new faces. Jungkook's name occupies the highest position in an internal survey conducted of more than 5,000 influential youth from different parts of the world. With an unblemished career, massive social media presence, and an almost flawless visual aesthetic, he's not just a star, but a symbol of a generation. When fashion journalists found out who would be the surprise on the stage of US Fashion Week this year, no one expected that LV's choice would actually shake the traditional foundations of the fashion world. Jungkook's footsteps on the main runway became an iconic moment highlighted from various corners of the world. In a futuristic style suit of silvery gray color with bronze accents, he not only walked, he mastered the stage. With a sharp gaze and gentle yet controlled movements, Jungkook transforms into something more than just a model. It became the visual narrative of a generation that refused to be compartmentalized by cultural, racial, and linguistic boundaries. The usually rigid fashion journalists suddenly softened. Harper's Bazaar called the moment an unexpected collaboration that finally made the fashion world feel more human. Vogue US, which previously only gave a brief spotlight on Asian trends, wrote in a special editorial that Jungkook is not just a model, he is a message. But a message about what? It's about courage, about openness, about erasing the boundary between the entertainment industry and the textile arts, and making it a whole stage to express the values of the new age. Even more surprising were the comments of Louis Vuitton's own creative director, Matthew Blazy, who finally opened his voice after the evening show. In a closed-door press conference, he stated that Jungkook's selection was not based on popularity alone. But one thing that makes all of this even more touching is the fact that Jungkook doesn't show the slightest bit of arrogance. In a short post on Weverse, he simply wrote, "For all those who have ever dreamed, I know what it's like to walk in the shadows. But tonight, I walk with you beside me." The sentence was immediately greeted with a wave of tears from his millions of followers, as if each letter was a hug that warmed their hearts. And here we stand today, witnessing how a young man from South Korea not only broke through the boundaries of the world music stage, but also knocked down the wall of exclusivity in fashion in a way that no one could have foreseen. The question now is, where will Jungkook's next move take him? Is this the beginning of the transformation of the global fashion industry? And will this be a sign that a new generation has taken over? Is the world really ready for this revolution? Is the fashion industry, which for decades has been heavily guarded by European exclusivity and Western beauty standards, now succumbing to an Asian star magnet named Jungkook? The question began to fill the discussion in world-class fashion forums just hours after his footsteps stopped at the end of the runway. As the lights began to dim and the VIP guests left their seats, one reality stood out. The fashion world had changed that night, and Jungkook was right at the heart of the changed army. Jungkook and BTS's loyal fan community not only witnessed, but also became part of this monumental narrative. Many were even willing to stay up all night to watch the live stream of the event, just to see if the rumors about Jungkook's involvement were true. And when that dark screen finally brought out the silhouette of Jungkook's body in dramatic lighting, many couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some even reported that they were too shocked to cry. But as soon as his appearance was confirmed by the visual narrative on the stage, the cry broke out. Irrepressible emotions spill out in thousands of living rooms, cafes, cinemas that organize joint viewing, to workplaces that secretly insert small screens in the corners of the room. The next day, headlines in almost all international entertainment and fashion media did not mention the name of the designer or what collection was in the spotlight. All lead to one thing in common: Jungkook's surprising, bewitching, and indirectly ruining the hierarchical order of the fashion world that has been known to be cold and unattainable. But amid all the euphoria, the public began to question, will Jungkook continue to pursue a fashion path in parallel with his music career? Jungkook gave an answer that was very typical of him: humble, but deep and penetrating. I don't know where life will take me, but if my path can give meaning to someone who sees it from a distance, then I'm willing to walk even further. Those words soon became quotes used in many murals, stickers, and posters by the army around the world. And behind the scenes of all these big events, there are small stories that reinforce the magnitude of the impact of Jungkook's emergence. A teenage boy in Ohio who used to be bullied for loving fashion has now gone viral for making a reaction vlog full of happy tears when he saw Jungkook on the runway. A blind girl in Jakarta uploaded a video of herself seeing the moment through a voice description and said it was one of the brightest moments of her life. Thousands of personal stories have sprung up, making this event not just a fashion history, but an emotional history for many souls. How could one person's footsteps change the course of so many people's collective feelings? Is it just about visuals and prestige? Or are we actually witnessing something deeper, about a shift in the meaning of representation, about acceptance, and about light shining not because it wants to be seen, but because it wants to illuminate?